first 20 or 30 minutes or so, talk about funding, two different sources. For those that do know or don't know about some of the contemporary ways that people raise money for companies, and then also talk about the traditional ways that people today raise money. So, a lot of different ways to raise money as a business, if you want to start a business. And probably one of the most common, or potentially most common ways, is to ask for money from your family, like a parent, relative. So, I mean, there's obviously pros to that. Obviously, they believe in you. They may or may not have the money, but it is an easy level, I guess, like degree of separation to get access to that person. Has anyone ever asked any relatives for any type of startup capital in any type of venture in their lives? From lemonade stands to anything that they've ever wanted to do? How did it go for you?
Me, it went all right because I'm still in debt with my mom right now.
Okay.
But it was cool because she never gave me a time limit. I can still get stuff from her. If I needed to get supplies for the parties and stuff like that.
Okay.
So she helped me out with that. Borrowed me $200 to get all that stuff. And she asked me, I owe her, but she don't really be tripping on it.
Got it. I mean, and it's definitely in a lot of different things that we talked about in anything dealing with money, financing. There are some horror stories, and there are some obvious success stories. I guess, for example, at work, I had a client that called me about their finances in the last couple of days, and he called me and he's like, "Hey, Michael, I'm not happy with my investments. He's invested into the stock market through a mutual fund, and he's not happy with his performance." And we get talking about kind of what's wrong, why he's not happy, what's wrong with his investment. And he was saying, I think the financial advisor that I worked with wasn't or didn't have my best interest in mind. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, I wanted to be invested in something that guaranteed me 12%, and I only get 9% on my investment. And the only reason why I said that story is because I kind of equate that to you having an investment with your family and friends sometimes. Typically the business that you want to run, you're the expert in that industry or in that business, but the people around you aren't and really have no idea of what's going on. So it's going to be really, really important if you ever would decide to ask for funds from your family or friends, that you really lay out the potential of what's going to happen. What I mean by that is they need to have an idea of what the relationship is with you as a partner. Is it a silent partner? Do they get to advise you? How long that money will be gone. I know you said, Kevin, that she doesn't give you a time limit to have the money back. So you got a perfect opportunity with that. But I mean, you definitely could see, I know I could see, and with people that have ever done business with, my family or friends, or asked them for money or they for me, it's it could get really nasty if there isn't expectations set up early and often with that. So I have a survey. We'll talk about the traditional way of raising money through banks and through what the average business owner is doing right now, and then go into some of the more contemporary ways that people are raising money. This is just a survey. It's done by the National Bank Association. It just breaks down availability of capital. We talked about bootstrapping already. We talked about how a lot of people do run startup businesses with their own funding and don't need the excess capital. But depending on the business that you want to run, I know both of you are in culinary. So depending on if you ever want space, you're probably going to, depending on your financial situation, you may need to have some sort of bank or some sort of financing opportunity. So just looking at this quickly, the middle portion, the biggest chunk, is the types of financing that your company has used in the last 12 months. If you look at the numbers, and these were a slew of businesses. They were different revenues from $100,000 or smaller up to $100 million companies. But it kind of just showed how businesses are actually keeping themselves alive. So, you know, credit cards, those are obviously some of the most dangerous. I'm glad to see private loans is high, but you know, you think of these predatory loans. Luckily, I'm glad that you know the businesses aren't doing that as a primary source. But you know, these are kind of what's going on and how they're keeping their monies alive and keeping their company alive for payroll. Do you think? I mean, 20% private loan. Do you think that's good? Do you think that's the real norm? Do you think? I think that's high for me personally. I don't know. Do you think if 5 of us here on average, one of us will get money from a family or friend? Probably say no. At least people I know.
Yeah.
Most of them tell me no. I wonder if they gotta have some wealthy friends or wealthy family, but I thought that was probably the most shocking number. And then bank loan being 29%. It's, I don't know if I think it's high or low, but I think that the bank loan, especially with today's economy, it's definitely hard to get. Money's not accessible as it once was. And we know that because the economy has been slipping as of late. If you look at the bottom corner, there's a statistic that talks about if you've been turned down for a line of credit in the last 2 years, what were the main reasons? I think this box is probably the most pertinent to this group because potentially if you've never started a company and then you're going to get financing, I mean, these are kind of the obstacles that you may want that are going to probably be facing. Never applying for financing seems to make the most logical sense, and also collateral. The bottom half, they didn't lend to my industry. I have no idea, and I haven't the time to complete or understand the loan package. I guess like those are the things that when they're looking for loans or looking for opportunity, that we can avoid the most. Lending history, these statistics are very vague, so it doesn't say exactly what the industries or every industry that was in that category. But I'm assuming like credit unions versus the bigger banks are going to have different requirements in different industries. Some of the newer industries that are just establishing themselves, solar energy, for example, or things that are kind of fly by the pants, never really been out there, you have a harder chance of getting financed. But has anyone ever tried to apply for any type of business loan? Ever known anyone that's tried to apply for a business loan? Have any experiences they want to share about it?
Actually, it did before 2009, so
Okay.
they didn't really have no problem.
Because definitely, it seems that banks, because of their just the way that they're operating right now, people are looking for alternative ways to finance their companies. So, does everyone here know what's up?
All right, you said the 29% for the bank loans is kind of high to you, but these banks are sitting on so much money right now.
Right.
It should be higher because the government wants them to loan to people, right?
You think they do?
I think they do. I think the government wants the banks to. What's the purpose of sitting on all this money if you're not gonna loan it to people? Then what was the purpose of us bailing y'all out if y'all just gonna leave? If y'all not gonna try to go back to the way y'all used to be when it comes to giving loans and helping people start new businesses?
In theory, I think you're completely right. I just don't know if in practice it's actually happening. Banks did get bailed out, and banks do have cash. And if you look at a lot of the companies, a lot of the banks that were bailed out, a lot of them seem to have recovered. But I think that it's still reluctance. It's still hesitant. And I think for sure, if you've been in business for 25 years versus someone that's a new kid on the block, never done anything, it's going to be harder for you to get money just because I don't think banks are just like, here's $1 million. We don't know what you're doing. You have no track history. Banks are going to be reluctant to give you money.
But that isn't that isn't that the reason to start a new business for new people? Isn't that the reason why Obama's asked people to go back to school and further their education so some people can start new businesses? But if you're not going to give me the chance and opportunity, then why are we helping y'all? Why are we giving y'all loans, the banks loans, to further their adventure if you're not going to help the smaller people who, yeah, maybe I don't have any experience, but, I mean, I had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, I had to start
Absolutely.
somewhere. So, I mean, if you're sitting on all this money and in 2008 you were crying so much about you can't fail, we can't go in bankruptcy, then okay, that's fine. But me being a taxpayer, I helped you get out of your rut. So now it's time for you to pay the piper. It's time to help me out. And I feel they should have some type of regulation saying the banks, you have to start giving out loans to people that's trying to do something.
There are metrics and there are things that have been in place to try to initiate that. But I mean, you can also chime in as well. Banks aren't. They're not. If you would just have an idea, a business plan, not saying that it won't, but I think that it's definitely not going to be an easy process. What do you think you guys can do right now? Like if you wanted to get a bank loan, what are things that you could do? Do you think it's going to make more sense to start from square one, get a business plan, make sure that it's amazing, and go to the bank? Or is it better off for you to bootstrap 6 months, a year, have a product, have something in motion, and then approach a bank? What do you think is more likely to get funded?
6 months after you put your product out there and see how much, you know, capital you can earn off of that, and
Right.
you know, that's probably what they're doing. The banks, they're going that route, but
Right.
at the end, I just think they full of crap too.
But because I think
Because at one point they were just giving out loans like water, just giving it to you, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. But that's
Right.
the part. Isn't that one aspect of banking? You do have to take those risks when it comes to giving out loans. No matter what you do, it is a risk.
sure.
And isn't that the part of one aspect of a bank is to supply that risk just in case. You know, I mean, yeah, I might fail, I might not fail, but as a bank and you're really getting federally funded, then I mean, because if I fail, you gonna still get your money back regardless.
No way.
Where do you get the money from?
You mean like
I'm talking about the
savings
bank.
account?
I'm talking about the bank.
Only if it's federally insured.
Yeah, ain't they federally insured?
Not
Sure.
all of them. Not all of them.
No, personally, you're insured. Like if you have a savings account at the bank
Right.
and the bank goes under, you get your money back.
I'm talking about if I go under as a company.
They can write
If
you
I get a
off.
loan,
They can write it off. The
they can
loss.
write it off.
But you would have to go bankrupt.
Right.
Yeah, I
Otherwise,
had-
you're on
yeah.
the hook for that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the dangers about easy credit is that it's like, you know what gap insurance is for a car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you buy a car and let's say, I don't know, either the car gets in an accident or it just dies on you. Okay? So you junk it, you still have to pay the rest of your loan off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the dangers about when we talk about, you know, banks offering loans to businesses. It sounds like a really good idea, but on the practical side, it might not be. That's what happened to me. I had a business that I had a 10-year loan. My business went 7 years, and I found something else that was better. But I still had 3 more years to pay off on my loan. And I wasn't about to declare bankruptcy because that would have destroyed me. And there's enough lawyers out there that would be more than happy to destroy you.
Okay.
So that's the thing, you know, we talk about being able to get money, but the problem is it's not grants. And I think that's what you're thinking of. If we could offer grants to businesses and people starting up,
Mm-hmm.
like little increments, so they could just like keep testing, and as they test and get stronger, they get a little bit more. That could be a pretty good idea. Yeah.
And then also like about banks, at least the trend in banking is banks are a lot more than just like traditional banks. So like traditionally, a bank was just a bank set up, they give out loans, there's a spread, whatever they give out, they make a little bit more than what they give out, and that spread. But with the financial markets being what they are, what they've been for a while, that amount is very small. That's why you see a lot of companies like Wells Fargo, US Bank, every bank has like different arms, like advisory, for example, they do financial advising, or they'll do different things that make more money to them. So they're not like, they don't need that money as much as they used to. So they're going to be a lot more selective in how they give it out, because the risk now, especially with the government now being at least more than they once were involved with their operations, they're going to want to make sure that they are pretty conservative in the money given out.
The bank would be one of my last options.
To be your last option?
One of my last, yes.
Okay.
I would prefer going through, like, small business, loan or some other kind of outside finance. Something like that. Or even taking my own money, just wait for the income tax check. You know, to start small, build up.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you looking at the entrance and the finance and everything they're gonna pop on you. That's another thing that can kill your business right there, especially if you're not making that kind of capital, no way. The less I owe, the better off I'll be. Yeah, I see it.
True, but you also do need money to grow, and that's the catch-22. Because if you only have a $10,000 pot of cash, $10,000. But if you got to hire staff, you got to have payroll, you got to have insurance, you got to have a building, $10,000 is be a drop in the bucket. You gonna say something?
No, that's
So, we're gonna watch this video, but before we do, just give a little brief, and they'll explain it a little bit better. But this is like a pretty new concept that's been around. Anyone know what Kickstarter is? Ever heard of Kickstarter? Anyone ever heard about crowdfunding? No? So glad I brought this video in, because this could be like a totally different route how you get your business started. We're going to talk about this. He's going to explain what it is. We'll talk about it in depth more if you have any questions about it. And I'll show you the site, and we'll kind of just show you in a completely different way to raise money for your companies.
Any of you in the entertainment industry should pay attention, especially.
In the entertainment, if you have anything that gives back to the community, if you have anything that is just pretty much anything can fit in this. And it's a great way from nothing to raise money for your company. So hit the lights. It's just 5 minutes from an attorney. There's a little spiel about Toronto or Ontario. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. But the rest of it is really good information about crowdfunding.
If you're not clear, it's a great idea.
Can't hear that?
Did you turn all the dials up on the bottom there?
Product that's ready to be manufactured. Wouldn't you appreciate a site where you could go and submit a request for $100,000 and receive commitments for $10.2 million? True story, and it happened in 2012. It's an extreme example, but it does demonstrate the power of crowdfunding. Essentially, it's using the internet to raise significant amounts of money by obtaining small amounts of money from a large number of people. The technology has progressed so it's quick, easy, and cheap to reach anyone with a connection to the internet. Crowdfunding is an example of the larger concept of crowdsourcing, which has brought us such diverse things as open source software and Wikipedia. Yes, there are two broad categories, the donation model and the reward model. In the donation model, the contributor is asked to contribute to a worthy cause. Charities have used this approach to raise significant monies over a number of years, but it's also been used for raising money for things like community centers, films, books, and other works of art. The key is the person contributing the money must not receive any tangible benefit. Most people wouldn't consider giving money to an entrepreneur so that he can expand his business, a worthwhile endeavor, unless you're receiving something in return. In the reward model, you receive something, usually at a discounted price. In my $10.2 million example, in return for a $99 contribution, you receive the promise of a wristwatch that's programmable, can run apps, and connects to your smartphone. This is called equity crowdfunding, and it's currently illegal in both Canada and the United States. The sale of shares of a company is highly regulated in both countries. Essentially, you can only do so pursuant to a prospectus, which is an expensive process that doesn't work very well for raising small amounts of money for startups and SMEs. Both countries provide an exemption from the prospectus requirement for accredited investors and persons able to invest more than $150,000. But there's a concern that more needs to be done to provide access to capital for startups and SMEs.
That'll be enough of that. That's okay. So we'll get to some other things as well, but everyone get that or understand at least somewhat what they were talking about here with crowdfunding?
I'm gonna watch it on.
Okay, so let's
So you basically on the internet,
right.
like advertising your business or what you want to start up?
Absolutely. So what it would work? So imagine you have an idea and you want to get it funded through a crowdfunding source. You could basically present it to an audience of people that are interested in making contributions to a business. And if they like what your pitch is, essentially they'll give you money at a very small amount to grow your company. So, and I'm going to show you the place that it's really big on. It's called Kickstarter. But, so basically, instead of you saying, hey mom, hey bank, hey angel investor, hey venture capitalist, I need $1 million, you say, hey community of 100,000 people, can I get $10 from each one of you? And it still accomplishes the same overall goal, getting that $1 million, but it's done in a way that's much more organic, and it's just a different way to go outside of the bank, outside of all those regulations. The process is not anywhere near as in-depth as like the formal 100-page business plan model. It's basically, I got 30 seconds to make it count. This is my company. This is how it'll work. Will you fund me? We talked about two different models. One was the donation model, and one was the reward model. And we'll get into this again more. But so, obviously, everyone knows as a country, experienced a big tragedy over the last week with the Boston Marathon bombings, etc. that went on. I found on CNN Money actually this morning that the victims were trying to raise money for victims, and through a crowdfunding like a platform, they've already raised millions of dollars for these victims. So they were able to, the same thing, so almost like back in the day, and they still go on, but you have the telethons and people call in and make a donation. It's like that on steroids. It's like you pitch it, you need money out, and people 100,000 people, for example, can get on to that site and say, here's $10, here's $15, $20. Same thing is kind of like, not Obama, but Clinton and Bush, when they raised money for like Haiti and different initiatives, how now you can like text in this code for $5. It's the same concept of crowdfunding, but for this situation, it's for strictly to help other people. It's not for any type of like monetary gain. The other option is for all you guys. It's the reward option. So what it would be is, let's say, musician. You have an artist who's gonna cut their first album, right? You don't have any money. You want to raise $1 million or $100,000 to get them to get their first album. Typical CD or typical iTunes for an album might be $10. What you could say is, you give whatever, $100 or $50 to us to get this album launched, and you get a free album, or you get something that will encourage them to want to give you money to get it. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'll give you $50, and I don't even know. I only saw your video on the internet of your artist singing or whatever, and you want your artist to get their album. I'll give you $50. You don't know who I am, but I'm like someone who goes to Kickstarter on a day-to-day basis, and I see your artist and want to help your project, I'll give you $50. You complete the project. Instead of you selling it to me on iTunes or at Walmart or Target, because I gave you $50, you give me a free album. And that's how you get the album started. With no money from you, all you did was pitch the idea. We like the idea enough that we want to give you money to get it funded.
So can we try both? The donation way and the reward way? In different terms, like say if we, cause I like to do all the legal work, like I need money for that too, so it's like, it'll be good to get donations first, and then after a while, after getting all that stuff done, and like where we can just put out the album without no setbacks and all like that, people coming at us for different stuff.
I would say keep them in completely different baskets. So like if you're looking to do the donation model, it's strictly for the good of the society, like the Boston Marathon victims, like strictly that realm. I wouldn't mix it. And plus, I mean, you got to figure, because the people that you want to fund your business is like people that don't know you at all. They only can see your vision. It's like you have to put it out there very concise, very honest, very transparent. They know exactly what the objective is. So what you can do in that situation versus saying, I need legal fees and the album sales, put all that in your budget and say I need $100,000, try to raise $100,000. You don't need donations. And the cool thing is, anyone can do this. Anyone. There is no restrictions at all. Anyone has access to crowdfunding. You just have to, what makes sense is, MATC, for example, could be a great place for you guys to partner up to get videos out on crowdfunding sources, like Kickstarter. What I mean by that, Maurice, access to people that can do videos, access to people that can write. You have an artist, put a demo video up on a Kickstarter, have your plan, what you need to get done. Get the money you need to get your company started. It's a genius idea. It's definitely new and it's fresh and it's out of the box, but for anyone that wants to start a business, I mean, this is like gold to you guys. I hope everyone's writing down Kickstarter.com or .org. Because like literally, it's a game changer. And it's not just, it's basically saying, who knows, in 25 years, this is obviously an exaggeration potentially, but how you said the banks are the last option, it might be where banks are knocking on doors to get people to give money out so they can make some money on their loans. It may get to that point because this is literally like changing the way we look at finance, changing the way we conduct business. And another good advantage or a great advantage to an opportunity like Kickstarter is, one of the biggest things that a company needs to succeed is marketing, right? So if I got 1 million people that gave me $1, I know 1 million people that know my business, and they're waiting for my business. So my social media page is going to be enormous. So my YouTube videos are going to get millions of hits. So people are waiting for my products to drop.
We did have a student that did a Kickstarter campaign, the Chess King guys. It was about a month ago. They were on Kickstarter. And I'll explain Chess King in a minute. Or later.
And I got statistics, and I only made one copy because I didn't know if it'd be of any interest yet to you guys, but just give you a couple of examples. So these are the top 10, or a couple of projects. And before I actually get started with that, you guys had heard that $10.2 million, right? All they asked for was $100,000. Because of that community that loved their idea so much, they got $10 million. You can keep all of it. The only threshold, the only downside to the Kickstarter campaign is it's all or nothing. If you say I want $10,000, you get $9,999.99. You get $0. But if you ask for $10,000 and you get $1 million, you get $1 million.
Wait, hold on.
Mind-boggling. It doesn't make any sense. Basically, it's crazy, but it does make sense. But
You said it'd be good.
you want to start. You want to take your dessert business, your strawberries, all that to the next level, right? You said I need to get some cash to get the next project off the ground, and you asked for $10,000 from your Kickstarter community, right? If you raise $9,999 $999.99. You get zero because you didn't make your mark of what you said you were going to get. Let's say you become a sensation on Kickstarter. You raise $100,000. You only ask for 10. You get $100,000.
Why is it only zero?
Because that's the threshold. That's how they keep it competitive, and that's how they actually can like keep it valid and keep it where you want to actually use the site. It's not just a money donation. It's like people have to believe in your product to give you the money, but you can get all of it.
So if they gave it at $9,999, I can't use it or something?
You get zero. You don't get it.
I can't.
And so check it out. And I'm going to show you the site. But basically, it's a poll. It's a metric. It's a thermometer. If you don't burst through the thermometer and get all of it, you get none of it. And that's why you have to. It makes you smart. It makes them smart for a couple of reasons. Why? Number one, you're not going to ask for crazy money that you can't raise. If you don't need $10 million and you don't have a pitch that says I need $10 million, you're not going to get it. So it makes you wise. And it makes you think about, even though it's money that you're getting from the community, it makes you a smart, sensible person when you're asking for the money. Right?
So, in what type of ways do they give you, like, how do you show what you got to offer? Like,
You pitch it. You have a video. You have presentations.
Videos
Right.
and all that on, like, we create a page or something like that?
Right, a profile, and you create it, and they'll give you recommendations how to get started. You put together a budget, you'll pitch it out. They make it so you only get a short, or really relatively short period of time, like 60 to 90 days. And if you make that money then, it's your money. It's all yours. And the beauty, this is even another beauty part, another insane part. It's insane, based off of what we hear about in banks, right? There aren't like metrics. There aren't like, once the money's yours, it's yours. It's not like after report in 10 weeks or 2 weeks where the money went. It's your money. It's yours. You got funded. Is anyone excited about this as much as I am? How crazy this could change the game in business? Changes the game in business. There's been like documentaries that went from an idea in the head to $100,000 for funding. They put together a video. There was a documentary. It's called like Brooklyn, Boheme or Brooklyn, something like that. Talks about like the housing market in Brooklyn. I saw on the Kickstarter. A guy raised $100,000 to get it started. $100,000. Couple things to keep in mind. Some of the success stories in it. I'll turn on the lights for my video. But a couple of success stories. It does matter like who you know. It does, like anything else. Because if you're like a celebrity type, people know who you are. You gotta be able to raise more money. But also just an amazing product will also raise you a lot of money. Let's go for a couple of examples really quickly. Just to talk about and give you some examples of what's been made. So, all right. Here's one company. It's called the TikTok Lunatic Multi-Touch Watch Kit. Pretty interesting name. But what it allows you to do is basically turn or use like an iPad Nano type of tool or how it looks and make that a watch. Okay? This company, they asked for $15,000. That's it. $15,000. They raised $942,578 for their products.
What'd you say?
This company, it's a watch company, right? They sought after $15,000 to get their watch company started. They raised $942,578. Not a bad day. Not a bad day in the office, right? Now, I'm giving you guys extremes. I'm not saying this is going to be all your businesses are going to, don't get mad at me in 6 months if you're like, Mike, I raised $20,000 or $10,000. But I'm just telling you, like, if you guys have a great idea, like, this opportunity is saying, you know how they used to say money isn't going to be a hindering factor? Now, like, you really, really have the proof in the pudding that, like, money will not be what makes your business not get to at least a point where you can start to put it out there and make money. I mean, it really makes sense because the market's telling you we want your product first before you actually get the money to start. You talk about market research, why would you get a survey? Why would you waste time going door to door, knocking on doors? Why would you do that? Why waste your time? Put together a video. What does your market tell you? They've already told you what they're gonna give you. 2-in-1. You get money and marketing research. I know why is my product gonna be successful? 10,000 people gave me money. That's not most successful. Worst case scenario, I got 10,000 clients right there, 10,000 customers right there that are gonna get at least a free CD, a free album, a free movie, a free wristwatch, whatever the case may be. I got 10,000 fans right there. Another example.
You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong mentally too. Now, what if you don't meet your goals?
Absolutely.
That might kill you. That might kill some people. Be like, I give up.
Like the numbers,
I
like
give
you
up.
said, they asked for 15,000 and got that. It's like, depending on what you do, you got to know like what number to like, what to ask for. to
Absolutely.
make
This isn't like a.
Now, what?
like,
You first.
What if you don't make your goal? Can you get 0?
You get nothing.
Can you come back with another pitch
Absolutely.
and start it all over?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
That's the best thing about it.
It's not a-
That's the best thing about it right there.
But you get 0. But it makes everyone basically all on board. If you want to start a business from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, that would be the way to get. That would be the car to drive to get you to get going.
But all right, he said on there that you can't sell stock in your company.
Right.
Is that the same with this Kickstarter too?
Absolutely. You're not selling shares. You're just selling. It's a reward. So it's saying, I believe in your product enough that I'll give you money, but instead of me being a shareholder, I'll get access to the first batch. I basically pre-bought, in a way, my product.
Can you talk about the safety in that? Because they're not shareholders? In other words,
The safety is that once you give the money, it's gone. Like there is no, well you said, and there are, and we'll talk about this later, but there are some things that have gone wrong with Kickstarter and with crowdfunding. And so it's not all roses, there's definitely problems with it. But yeah, once you give that money away, the accountability on the company that you gave the money to, it's gone. There is no, well, I gave you $50, not $15 or $100, and you said it'd be ready by June 1st, and now it's July 15th, and there's no product. There's nothing you can do about it.
So basically, what you're saying is that you could have some scam artists in this too.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. But do you think that actually would get funded? If you're gonna put in all that effort, maybe. It's
I don't know.
possible.
I mean, Mr. Ahmed, he said it was a group that won some contest, and they never used the money. Don't nobody know. I mean, you never know who.
here's the problem with the internet. You know, you're going to do your what they call due diligence, right?
Yeah.
So let's say I'm going to have this wacky idea and I'm going to get funded, and I really have no intention on using it. Going to defraud people. And I do. All you have to do is Google me and find out that I was part of the biggest, Kickstarter scam in 2013,
You're done.
and I'm dead.
Right.
No one will ever fund me. So that's like the check.
But as far as that, I mean, and it also makes sense too, though. That's why this thing really makes a lot of sense because, just my thought, if I give someone $20, for example, $10, if I lose it, it's not gonna make or break my life, And that's the idea behind it. It's like, why not give this guy a shot? $10. They get a new product out in the market, it explodes. Why not? Made my life more convenient. Why not?
Now, as the person that's pitching the idea, and
Yeah.
say you do get the money that you asked for, do you
Yeah.
have to pay Kickstarter percentage?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's why they have it. But it's nominal. It's not. They're not venture capitalists taking 80% and getting ownership of the company. They might take 5 or 10%.
Okay.
And if you make $15,000 from nothing, it's absolutely well worth it to pay them that amount of money.
And you said there's a time limit on it too. You gotta do it in a certain amount of time.
You can make it longer, I believe, and we'll go through the site. But you can make it longer and things like that. But,
Okay.
really, you don't. They actually, because they've done it for long enough, they have like success stories as far as the average project that gets funded, the average amount, average industry. And one thing too, Kickstarter is just one option, but like every product, every opportunity, everything you want to start might not be the right fit for Kickstarter. Kickstarter, in my opinion, and this is what I've known, and I'm not an expert on Kickstarter, but I just know about crowdfunding. It seems that it's more of a product-based place of funding. We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago. What's easier to start, a service company versus a product company? And everyone said, short money, short term, off the ground quicker. You do a service business. You grab a shovel, go outside, start shoveling snow, right? Product business is harder, a lot more cash involved. So I think that's one of the reasons why it makes more sense that products are more likely to get funded, because to kind of get people to buy in to like some abstract concept of a service business would be probably harder for the average person to understand, especially not knowing your business. It's easy to say, give me 20 bucks, you'll have the latest and greatest Ray-Ban, whatever, Ray-Ban frames. You'll have the latest and greatest watch, the latest and greatest shoes. It's just kind of an easier, oh, I get it, they're making shoes, you know? So, let's go through just one other example. And there are a lot of examples, but, so there was Amanda Palmer and the Grand Theft Orchestra Band. She actually was a singer for another band, so obviously that helped her a lot, because she had a huge following. And her husband's, I guess, some author or something like that. But she asked for $100,000 to get her album started. She raised almost $1.2 million. So,
Is there any like legal requirements to like kind of tell what you did with the money, or it's not yet because they can give it away?
and that's why like the pitch. That's why the pitch, what you do, it has to make sense. Like if it's just like a random idea or something that the community can't rally around that's trying to purchase, it won't get funded.
So it's cool that if I ask for $10,000 and end up with 90, I can use like 20,000 and then just live off the rest or whatever I do.
You could spend 10 grand and go buy a 7 Series BMW. No one's gonna. You could. Just saying. You probably put in the business, but you could.
So do you have options of like communities or something like that? Like, do you choose a community where you wanna? Cause like like if you on Google, you like have different communities and stuff like that.
You can choose where you are. Let's go to Kickstarter. Phenomenal stuff, guys. Please look at this at home or in your free time, anytime. So like if you look, for example, this is a staff pick. And this is actually not in American currency, I believe euro. But you see how they have like this metric, 51% funded, that's how much pledge, days to go. It's like you have this time frame. It's not like forever, where it's like an ever evolving door of money, but you have that time window that you can make it. Okay. So what you would do, so you basically start a project here, make a profile, upload video. Let's see what this actually says.
Hello. Hi.
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 What's up, people? Hi.
Hey.
Hello. I thought we were gonna do hello.
Hi.
I love your new shoes. Are those new shoes?
Hi, my name is Raquel.
And I could go on, but this is a Kickstarter campaign video, and I haven't even told you what my project is yet. So the idea is this. I'm reading a book. A feature film. Stop motion animations.
Sci-fi music video album. Let people actually be able to buy a couture dress that they themselves design.
I want to make a new graphic novel, and I want you to get some original art.
This time I decided to write things that were more lyrical.
I hope to make something strange and unique for you to enjoy.
I made a film called Codependent Lesbian Space Alien Seek Sane.
Right now, I'm sitting on over 200 hours of incredible footage.
I'd like your help to complete it.
Cut out all that extraneous stuff, all this extraneous cost, and get to the point, which is simply more art in front of more people.
The last piece of the puzzle is going to be you. We cannot do this without you. We can't.
We need you to be a part of this. This is a collaborative experience.
If you back this Kickstarter project,
You will be cool, and everybody will like you.
I want to make a show that you don't just watch. Something unpredictable, strange, and maybe even amazing. So let's do this thing.
I'm really excited for this. I think that this is worth doing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our Kickstarter.
Let's go make a story.
We can make it together.
So that's kind of the gist of what they do. They just kind of said, "This is what I'm starting." It's not that weird, but they'll give you the, the synopsis or the basis of their project. They'll show it off to you guys and say, fund us. I mean, it's only been around really. I've heard of it for a while now, a couple of years, and there definitely have been some things. There was actually that watch company that raised $10.2 million. They were actually having some issues with fulfilling orders, so it definitely upset and gave some negative press to the Kickstarter crowdfunding community. But overall, I mean, it's still wildly.
Could we watch an actual video from somebody?
Let's see.
Yeah, if you go back, there was some from Milwaukee.
So discover great projects. Great projects.
It must have been tied to,
Okay, so let's just say the Krabby Wallet. I don't think this is, but so they raised a lot, a lot of money.
That's what's up.
They raised. It's really really
Hey
awesome.
Kickstarter, I'm Ryan Crabtree from Ogden, Utah. I'm the creator of the Krabby Wallet. It's a minimalist wallet that holds everything you need and nothing more. Here in Ogden, I like to mountain bike, snowboard, and rock climb. When I do these things, I really don't want to carry a lot with me. That's why I made the Krabby Wallet. It's a minimalist design made completely of durable elastic. The wallet has 2 pockets that can easily hold 1 card or 10 cards, or back to 1. The shorter front pocket allows for easy access to your favorite cards.
It almost seems too easy, too good to be true. Like, it's crazy. Crazy.
The Krabby Wallet tags along anywhere. You can use the side loop to attach it to things like keychains or carabiners. The wide colored band holds your cards in place, and it's designed to fit around your phone. Use it however you want. Now it's up to you to help me take this project from prototype to production. With your backing, I'll be able to make the first production run of the Krabby Wallet a reality.
Worst case scenario, he doesn't get the money. What a heck of a commercial, right? Heck of a commercial. You know what it is. He pitched it, right? Don't know who he is. He said what he likes to do. He said why he bought it. Tried to make you feel pain. If you have anything of any sort of type of connection to what he needed the wallet for, that's the target market that he's going towards, and he raised money from the community. I thought that makes more sense to kind of what it does and how it works. Question?
I was just wondering, like his, how he advertised the product, like, will we have to do something like that? Me.
It only makes sense.
Yeah.
It only makes sense
So
too.
would you be able to help us?
Can you show me, you know, for $5, $10, $20, what you get? Here, yeah, on the right.
So like yeah, it'll say, so for $12 or more, you get a wallet of your choice, choose different colors, add $5 for shipping if you're outside of the country, international money. So that's another thing about Kickstarter. $15 or more, they're all out, but you get something of your choice. It must be a different color selection. Let's see.
So people are just buying it.
Right.
They're flat out buying it.
Yeah, so that's like a pre-order. It's like a pre-order of your product. But it's saying I want it. I don't even know what it is yet, or it hasn't even come to fruition yet. But I'll give you the money to get it started. You can.
And then another good thing too is that he actually set a demographic because
right.
he attracted or he appealed to a lot of snowboarders or
Thanks.
you know